It's that time of year again when everyone is talking about cryptocurrency, but most importantly, Bitcoin. You hear people who never talk about finance a day in their life telling you what to buy and what to invest in. I'm talking about at the barbershop, at the grocery store, at the pet groomers. Everyone wants to talk about Bitcoin at this time of year. But don't you worry, I got something for you guys. By the end of this video, you'll be able to understand Bitcoin and know its use, its purpose, and where to buy Bitcoin. I'm gonna make it so simple that anyone can understand it. What's up, YouTube? If you don't know me by now, my name is Javon. I'm a CPA, and over here on this channel, I make investing and finance so simple that the everyday person can just pick it up, watch one of these videos, and understand it without having any background knowledge on the subject. I don't bore you with big words. I don't try to impress people with how much I know. My only goal with this channel is to make finance something that everyone can be able to understand and to stop the gatekeeping of this useful information. So with that being said, let's start talking about Bitcoin. Now in this video, I'm gonna break this down into 3 parts. I'm gonna break it down between what is Bitcoin, what's its use, and why is it so important. And if you find this video useful, please be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel to support. So what is Bitcoin? Put simply, Bitcoin is digital money. It exists purely online. There's no physical form of Bitcoin, and unlike the money that's in your pocket, it can't be controlled by governments, banks, or companies. Now, a lot of people struggle with the idea of how is Bitcoin digital money when it was just created not too long ago? Where's the value in that? Well, quite frankly, that's exactly how the money in your pocket was created many years ago. Before that, people were trading cows, pigs for other goods like gold, silver, and homes. And speaking of the creation of Bitcoin, who invented Bitcoin? Well, this is where it sounds sketchy. To this day, no one knows who actually created Bitcoin. We don't know whether it's a single person or a group, but this person or group goes by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto. Bitcoin was created in 2009, and even though no one knows the exact origin of Bitcoin, this has changed the financial world forever. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I probably lost half of you right there because you're probably thinking to yourself, what do you mean no one knows who created Bitcoin? Me personally, I don't like putting my money in mysterious things either, but stick with me, I promise I got something for you. Let's move over to why Bitcoin was created. Bitcoin was created in 2008 in response to the financial crisis. Everything was hitting the fan back in 2008. Banks were failing, financial markets were crashing, and homes were losing their value every single day. The idea behind Bitcoin was to create a decentralized currency. Now that word decentralized is pretty much a buzzword around the crypto world. What that means is it cannot be created or controlled by the government or the central banks. For example, if tomorrow the United States ran into a big controversy, you know what they'll do? They'll just print more money. It's that simple. Open that machine up, print, and you know what that does in the end? That makes the money that you have less valuable because that's inflation right there. The more dollars that are in circulation, the less valuable the money that you currently have in your pocket is. Bitcoin helps people avoid this inflation because there's only 21 million Bitcoin in the world and none can be created. We'll get more into that later though. Bitcoin exists on something called the blockchain. Now what this is, you can just think of it as a digital ledger. Every single transaction is posted on the blockchain, and this makes it harder for people to cheat the system. And this system is decentralized, so what that means is no one person or group controls Bitcoin, meaning that you don't need permission from a person or a bank to send money to someone, whether it be across the street or across the world. Think about it like this, if I wanted to send somebody money on a weekend, most likely the bank is gonna be closed and I can't do that transaction until Monday. Or if I try to send a large amount of money, the bank is gonna take several days to process that. Not with Bitcoin, it'll be instantly. There's no more middleman involved. I hope you guys are still following me. Basically, think of Bitcoin as one big way to say F the system. We don't want any more governments controlling our money. We don't want to have to request permission from banks to tell us what to do with our hard-earned money. We just want to be able to do with our money as we please. With all that being said, why is Bitcoin so important? One word here, inflation. Inflation is the silent killer of wealth that a lot of people don't think about. Last year, the average inflation rate was 4.1%. What that means is your money got 4.1% weaker, or things got 4.1% more expensive. Let's say that you have $10,000 in your savings account right now that you worked very hard for and you've been saving for the past 10 years. Now, that $10,000 10 years ago, that probably would have got you a whole lot more than that $10,000 will get you today. You know why? Inflation. Every year that you have that $10,000 sitting in your savings account, it got weaker and weaker and weaker. Let me put it to you like this. Now, I'm pretty sure that almost everyone watching this video has been to McDonald's before. Now, when was the last time you've been to McDonald's? Growing up, McDonald's had a dollar menu, and let me tell you, that dollar menu is no longer there. In fact, McDonald's has said that they don't plan on bringing it back ever. I remember a time you used to be able to walk in McDonald's with $5 and you'll have yourself a good meal. Maybe not a good meal, but you'll be able to get a lot of food with that. Today, if you try to walk in McDonald's with $5, the only thing you're gonna buy is a one-way ticket out of there. Matter of fact, you probably can't even afford that with $5. As we talked about a little earlier, inflation comes from the money supply. The more money that's printed, the less valuable that the money you have becomes. Bitcoin stops all of this because you can't create more Bitcoin. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that was ever created, and there can be no more. This is pretty much like gold. There's only a limited number of gold in the entire world. You can't just create it out of thin air. So pretty much if I had $10,000 worth of Bitcoin 10 years ago, I know that the value of that Bitcoin will be worth solely on supply and demand. I don't have to worry about having $10,000 in Bitcoin and then all of a sudden a few years later, the United States government prints out $100 million worth of Bitcoin, making my Bitcoin less valuable. And let me just put it out there. As I'm recording this right now, Bitcoin is at about $95,000. Now you may be thinking to yourself, that is way too expensive. Just a couple years ago, Bitcoin was probably at like 35,000. I'm probably too late. And let me just tell you, no, you're not. You are early. How early are you? Well, right now it's estimated that only 6.8% of the entire world owns Bitcoin. 6.8%. That means if we're in the room full of 100 people, just imagine that, a room full of 100 people, only about 7 people in that room own Bitcoin. Now, do you think you're early or do you think you're late? You're early. The majority of the population don't own Bitcoin and they don't even know what Bitcoin is yet, but you will. As of right now, the average savings account earns about 0.4% interest each year. 0.4%. And that is well below the 4.1% inflation rate that we talked about earlier. Meaning that the interest that you're saving in your savings account is basically worthless. You're losing year after year. Now, this is not financial advice, but I would much rather take my chances with Bitcoin. Like I said earlier, Bitcoin will come down to supply and demand. With only 6.8% of the entire population in the world owning Bitcoin right now, what do you think is going to happen when more and more and more people own Bitcoin? It's going to become more rare to get. The demand for Bitcoin is going to be much higher, making it much more expensive to buy. So as of right now, where we see Bitcoin next to all-time highs, 10 years from now, we're going to be looking back at this and thinking to ourselves, wow, I should have bought right here. I should have bought Bitcoin when I was just $90,000. Who knows what the price will be 10 years from now? I'm not gonna say a number based on speculation, but that could be well over $150,000, $250,000, $500,000. Some people are even predicting $1 million, which will be 10x from where we are right now. Which also means that if your $10,000 that you put in Bitcoin today, hypothetically, in 10 years, if it is at $1 million, your $10,000 will now be worth $100,000 times 10. But at the end of the day, why should you care about Bitcoin? Well, quite frankly, whether you like Bitcoin or not, whether you believe in it or not, it's here to stay. Trust me, people have already tried to get rid of Bitcoin with no success. If you watch this video up to this point, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button just to stick around for more videos in the future. With that being said, how do you buy Bitcoin? Now, I personally recommend for beginners to start buying Bitcoin on one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world called Coinbase. In the description down below, I left a link for you. Coinbase is one of the best places to buy Bitcoin if you're a beginner. Now, once you become more advanced in the world of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, you may hear people using advanced terms like, oh, buy a cold wallet, buy this and that. But for someone who's just starting out, you don't need to worry about all that. So if you go to the App Store on your phone and search for Coinbase, you'll be able to see the Coinbase app. You'll be able to create an account and fund your wallet with however much money you want. You can start with $1, $100, however much money you want, and you can easily start buying Bitcoin just like that. Right now, you're even able to use Bitcoin to buy things such as coffee, pizzas, or other goods, which I personally don't recommend. I feel like if you're buying Bitcoin, it's to hold, to preserve the value in your money. But hey, it's your money, so you can do whatever you want with it. When the internet first blew up 30 years ago, no one else thought it would be this big. Almost every big company or corporation thought it would be just a fad that passes by. And look at us right now, still here on YouTube.com. I think Bitcoin will be pretty much the same way. Right now, people don't understand the potential of Bitcoin's future. And I really think that years to come down the line, this is gonna be another one of those things where you think to yourself, wow, why wasn't I buying more back then if I knew what I knew now? Don't let that happen to you. Again, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. But other than that, peace.